Okay, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trading Indicators Explained, where we go through different indicators that Trade Ideas has for their charts and different uses that you could have for them and things that you could do in order to maybe add these to your trading repertoire and hopefully help you out there. Again, links are always in the description for the program below. If you're interested in giving it a shot, go down there and check it out. Today, we're going to talk about anchored VWAP. So, in a prior video, we talked about just Vwap and just the concept there. So as I always start off with the math, I think it's important people understand the basic concept of the math. There it is, right? So Vwap is basically just the average price that a participant is paid depending on where you anchor it from. So the original one we talked about was anchored at the beginning of the day, which is the most common, but what we're going to look at now is anchored Vwap. So a very good follow for this is Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends. He's kind of the godfather, I guess one could say, of anchored VWAP. So here's how you access it from your charts. It's a drawing tool. So you see the little anchor button on the top right hand corner of your charts. You'll click that. It will change your pointer. And then you'll click on wherever you want to start the VWAP anchoring. And it will kind of go on from there. So usage, trend direction, right? First of all, just like we talked about with the VWAP, a lot of traders will say, okay, I will not buy a stock if I'm above the VWAP or below the VWAP for a longer period of time, and I will not short the stock if I'm above the VWAP. I'm going to trade in the direction of where the overall people for the time frame I'm looking at are happy. If the buyers are happy, I'm going to stay long. If the sellers are happy, I'm going to short. Next is support and resistance, right? So here's PLTR, very popular stock. On this one, I've anchored the VWAP from the breakout point of when we broke out of that low base. And you can see we've come back twice. So we came back and made a little doji hammer kind of in this area here. And then next we pulled back to it a little bit later, spent a few days to it, and then we started to lift off it. So in both cases, this would be an okay area to enter a support play. So I'm going to go over to the main charts here, and you can see a use for it on more of an intraday or short-term time frame. So this is a new issue. AFRM, again, it's irrelevant, but this is just something that I saw Brian Shannon mention. Again, for a very detailed explanation about this, I implore you to go check out his work. He's kind of the creator, so he'll obviously know way more than I will. I anchored it from the IPO price. So this purple line on the bottom is now showing us where is the average market participant since this issue IPO'd. And you can see it acted as support in a number of ways, and then I took another anchored VWAP from the top, and I said, okay, this is where the average seller is from this top point. This is where the average participant is. So these start to squeeze together, acting as support and resistance as it goes. So one trade that I've heard called the VWAP pinch is you find two significant points like this, a significant high and low, and if price is coiling in between them as they get tighter and tighter and tighter, you can use this as a, if you had a long bias on this, it may be interested to either start accumulating at the bottom here with a tight stop or wait for this top line here to break as kind of a, okay, now that everybody's happy, the average buyer from the top and the average buyer from the bottom, maybe that happiness and that sentiment is going to push the stock up. So that is what we're looking at anchor VWAP. The question is always where to anchor it to. That's always going to be the hardest question. The best answer I've seen is any significant point. So think of gaps, think of incredibly high volume days, think of breakout days, and significant highs and significant lows. And if you can cover those bases and make sure you're anchoring them from the correct place, this is an indicator that in my own trading, I am really kind of trying to hone and play with, because I like the concept of it being price, volume, and sentiment kind of all built into one, and some of the cool things that we can do with that. So again, if you're interested, links are in the description below, and I will talk to you guys next time.